students, now come to the next topic, that is mature Graafian follicle. Here it is the ovarian structure of the female body, and if we are talking about the mature Graafian follicle, I have to draw the structure of Graafian follicle. Most of the time the Graafian follicle may be asked you as the short note of 2.5 marks, or it may be of 3.5 marks. It is a rounded structure having the outermost flattened cells over here which layer is known as theca externa. Which one is the outermost layer of the Graafian follicle? If we are talking about the mature Graafian follicle, it has the following sorts of outer and inner covering, and this outermost covering is called theca externa. Inner to this one is the outermost covering, and inner to this theca externa, another longitudinal cell layering is also found, which is called theca interna. Here we are talking about this Graafian follicle only. The outermost covering is theca interna, and inner to the theca interna, the another layer is called granulosa layer. So these are the cells found at the inner side of the theca interna, which are numerous in number. And this numerous number of oogonial cell, if we are talking about this structure of this ovary, we have already discussed about the ovarian structure, the varieties of structure of the primary follicles present over there, and these primary follicles divide mitotically to produce a large number of oogonial cells. From these oogonial cells, the structure I have discussed in the structure of ovary, the number of oogonial cells in the foetal life of the embryo forms a tube-like structure. That tube is called egg tube, and after or during the time of developmental stage of the embryonic life, the oogenesis is also taking place throughout the embryonic development. The egg tube further forms a rounded mass-like structure that is called egg nest, and from this egg nest one of the oogonial cell come to the center of the follicle, and it is selected as the future primary oocyte, and the total structure, the first follicular structure consisting of the central primary oocyte selected oogonial cell and surrounded by the granulosa layer is called the primary follicle. All these things are taking place inside the foetal life of the fetus. and after the puberty, when the puberty occur at the age of 12 to 13 years in case of the female body, under the influence of these two hormone, one is follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone released out from the pituitary gland. Used to make the primary follicle into mature Graafian follicle. Under the influence of these two hormones released after the puberty in case of female, they convert the primary follicle into mature Graafian follicle. And in later on, during the year-wise development of the particular female body, each and every month, the cyclic changes occur inside in the female body, that is called periodic cycle or the menstrual cycle. Under the influence of these two hormone FSH and LH, the total reproductive life cycle of the female body is going to taking place. So here the internal granulosa cells surrounds the middle primary oocytes. So these are the granulosa layer. This granulosa layer or the granulosa cells is used to produce the estrogen hormone, and at the center the primary oocyte is present. This primary oocyte is surrounded by the granulosa layer, the particular layer, and several other layers also found surrounding this, the primary follicle. Here, this Graafian follicle has an outer covering, outermost covering is called theca externa. Inner to the theca externa, another layer of covering is there, is called theca interna. Lower to the theca interna, the oogonial cells covering present over here is called the granulosa layer, and the granulosa layers becomes a projection, makes a projection into the central part of the Graafian follicle. This projection makes a pathway to the central primary follicle. This is the central primary follicle. This projection is known as germ hill, and this structure which connect the germ hill or from the basal lamina, this is the basal lamina, with that of the primary follicle, is called cumulus oophorus, is called cumulus oophorus. So here the projection arises from the granulosa layer to the primary follicle, makes a particular base called the basal lamina, and from this basal lamina there is a hill-like structure of the germinal epithelial cells, is called the germ hill, and this germ hill is used to touch the primary oocyte present at the center of the Graafian follicle, is known as the cumulus oophorus, and the space around the primary oocyte present in the Graafian follicle is filled with a fluid, is called leuker, and this space is known as antrum. So you have to draw this diagram and elaborate the different parts of this mature Graafian follicle. You need to know about the structure of the mature Graafian follicle. What are the different structure? The mature Graafian follicle is developed after the puberty and under the influence of FSH and LH hormones secreted from the pituitary gland. They are able to produce a structure, rounded structure, which is consisting of several layers starting from the exterior to the interior. The first layer is theca externa. Lower to the theca externa, another layer is called theca interna, and lower to the theca interna, the granulosa cells forms a layer is known as granulosa layer, which is able to produce the estrogen hormone for the development of the primary oocyte. This granulosa layer and primary oocyte having a space around itself is known as, the space is known as antrum, and this antral cavity is filled with a fluid known as antral fluid, or it may be known as leuker. This primary follicle get attached with that of the granulosa layer with the help of particular hill-like structure that is called germ hill. The cavity, the mass of the granulosa cells in this follicle makes a hill-like structure that is called germ hill, and this germ hill get projected into the central part of the Graafian follicle and touches to the exterior wall of the primary oocyte is known as the cumulus oophorus, and this basal lamina connect to the granulosa layer base part above to the, and this total structure present over a germ basal lamina makes a germ hill. This germ hill touches to the primary oocyte by the help of the cumulus oophorus, and this makes a structure of the Graafian follicle. If we are talking about this primary oocyte over here, this primary oocyte having several layers such as the outermost granulosa layer surrounds the primary oocyte is called corona radiata. Outermost layer is called corona radiata. It is the outer total exterior part of the primary follicle, primary oocyte. This inner to this corona radiata, another, I am coloring it with yellow, this another layer is called zona pellucida. Then inner to the zona pellucida, another membrane which surrounds the internal egg is vitelline membrane, is known as vitelline membrane. All the structures present over here making the total part of the Graafian follicle. This Graafian follicle, at its center found the primary oocyte, which having the outermost layer is called the corona radiata. Inner to the corona radiata, the layer is found is called the zona pellucida. Inner to the zona pellucida, the innermost layer which is attached to the egg is called the vitelline membrane. This vitelline membrane surrounds the egg internally. Above to the vitelline membrane, the zona pellucida, and above to the zona pellucida outer granulosa layer is called the corona radiata. So, all these structures explain the Graafian follicle over here. So, this is all about the ovarian structure. If the ovary asked you as a short note of 3.5 marks, you have to draw the level structure of the ovary, internal structure of the ovary, explaining the different stages of the development of the follicles with the internal medullary structure as well as the cortical part. And if the Graafian follicle will ask you as the short note of 2.5 marks, you have to draw this diagram explaining the different parts and the points which I have discussed over here. The structure consisting of all these parts, starting from the external, the Graafian follicle, from where the Graafian follicle get originated. As I have told you, the Graafian follicle get originated from the primary follicular structure of the ovary. They get converted into mature structure under the influence of FSH and LH hormone, and when they get mature, they looks like this structure. They are having the outer covering or outer layer is called the theca externa. In next point, the inner to the theca externa, another covering or another layer is found, is called theca interna. Inner to the theca interna, oogonial cell surrounds internally is known as a layer, is known as the granulosa layer, which is able to secrete the estrogen hormone for the development of primary oocyte present at the center. And this granulosa layer forms a projection towards the center of this Graafian follicle, which is able to touch the primary oocyte present at the center, is known as the cumulus oophorus. The base of the basal lamina base of the cumulus oophorus is called germ-hill, and the primary oocyte is able to prepare its outer and inner layer inside over here. If we are talking about the primary oocyte, it has an outer covering that is called the corona radiata. Inner to the corona radiata, another layer is known as zona pellucida, and it has a specific character of the zona pellucida we have to discuss in our latter stage, in our latter or in next class. What is the function of this zona pellucida? So it has a specific function during fertilization. After the zona pellucida, inner to the zona pellucida, another layer is found that is called vitelline membrane. All these three layers together constitute the outermost covering of this primary oocyte. This primary oocyte consisting of this three layer corona radiata, zona pellucida, vitelline membrane constitute the total structure of the primary oocyte. So the primary oocyte again with the granulosa layer, outer theca externa and theca interna together constitute the mature Graafian follicle, which after the particular time period of 14th day of the menstrual cycle, it is able to release the structure that is called the ovum. Now, if we are talking about the next reproductive structure or the next secondary structure of the female reproductive system, that is the oviduct. Here it is all about the structure of ovary and the Graafian follicle. Next secondary or the accessory sex organ of the female reproductive system is called oviduct or it is otherwise called fallopian tube. Okay, this oviduct is of about 10 to 12 centimeter in length. So, oviduct or each of the fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 centimeter in length. That each ovary is get attached with a tube-like structure with the wall of the uterine structure. This uterine structure at their either side get attached with the two ovaries or a pair of ovaries with the help of a tube that is called oviduct or the fallopian tube. We have discussed earlier in our previous class. This tube is of about 10 to 12 centimeter in length. This tube is used to help in the transfer of oocyte from the ovary, used to help in the transfer of the oocyte from the ovary. Next, this tube has connected with uterus, is connected with uterus. That means it is starting from the particular attachment from the ovary and connected with the uterus. Next, it consisting of following parts or the parts of oviduct. Number 1, uterine part. Number 2, isthmus. Number 3, ampulla. Number 4, infundibulum. Number 5, that is fimbriae. So, all these 5 different parts used to constitute the oviduct, or these are the different segmental part of the oviduct starting from the uterus to the ovary. So, if we are talking about the structure of oviduct, here this is the wall of the uterus. I am taking the side view. I am taking the side view where here the total part of the oviduct. If we are talking about the uterine structure, if you are talking about here it is the structure of your oviduct. Here it is the ovary, uterus, and these are the parts of endometrium, myometrium and perimetrium, or you may call it as uterine wall. Starting from the fundic part, here from this region, starting from the fundic part, the part from where the oviduct is arise is called uterine part. Okay. It is the attachment or attachatory part of the oviduct with the wall of the uterus. Then this part attached to the uterine part and extending structure of the oviduct is called isthmus. It is the narrowest part of the oviduct. Narrowest part of the oviduct. Next, another region is found over here where the fertilization occur and the sperm will get fused with itself is called ampulla, where the fusion or the fertilization occur. Okay, then after the, or it is the widest most part or wider most part of the oviduct. After that, another funnel shaped structure is there, is called infundibulum, and it is the funnel shaped structure. And lower to the infundibulum, the edge part is consisting of hairy brush-like structure, or it may be looks like the finger like projection is called, this finger like projection is called fimbriae. Finger like projection. So, it's starting from the uterus up to the end of the fimbriae. These are the different parts of the oviduct. I have make a board of the oviduct. So, first of all, in case of oviduct, you have to write it is a long tube of about 10 to 12 centimeter in length. It is able to transfer the oocyte from the ovary to the uterus with the help of a tube, or it able to communicate the ovary with that of the uterus by transferring the oocyte or the ovum. It is get connected with the uterus by the help of uterine part. Next, structurally, this oviduct is consisting of following parts. What are the different parts? First of all, if we are starting from the uterus, the first part is the uterine part. Here it is the uterine part which is attached to the uterus wall or wall of the uterus is called the uterine part. Next, from the uterine part, another section is there which is the narrowest section. Is called isthmus. And next, after this isthmus, the widest part of the oviduct is found, that is called ampulla. It will be maybe asked you as one more question, that is the widest part of the oviduct is called ampulla. Next, another part after this ampulla which makes a funnel shaped structure, that is known as infundibulum. Infundibulum may ask you as funnel shaped structure of the oviduct. What is that? The infundibulum. After the infundibulum, it will projected into a finger-like structure that is called fimbriae. So, fimbriae is also asked you as finger-like structure. So, this structurally the oviduct consisting of all these 5 different parts. This projection helps. If we are talking about the internal structure, the fimbriae, if we are taking the cross section of this oviduct, here this is the structure which looks like this, having an opening at its center. This opening is called ostium. This opening part of the oviduct at the fimbriae is called ostium. and this ostium is ready to receive the ovum over here. After the release of the ovum from the ovary, it is ready to receive the ovum with the help of the ostium present at the fimbriae region of the oviduct. That is, it is able to communicate, the structure is able to communicate, or the tube is able to communicate the ovary with that of the uterus. That means the oocyte or the egg comes by this way up to the ampulla region where the fertilization occur, or the fusion of male and female gamete is going to taking place over the ampullary isthmic part of the oviduct. The ovum is get it or make it pathway with the help of this oviduct. So oviduct is used to communicate the ovum with that of the uterus. And another most important function is taking place over here, that is the fertilization or fusion of the two gametes taking place inside in the oviduct. So this is all about the structure of the oviduct. You have to write a minimum 5 to 6 points of this structural elaboration of this oviduct, how much its length, from where or what is the real position of this oviduct, what are the different parts of the oviduct. Now come to the function of the oviduct. The oviduct consisting of the long slender tube, oviduct consisting of long slender tube having ciliated pathway for easy movement of the egg, or you can write here the oocyte. That means the function comprises of the first thing, no doubt it is able to produce or able to communicate the oocyte from the ovary up to the uterine wall with the help of this ciliated pathway. The pathway consisting of numerous cilia which is able to make the proper movement of the oocyte throughout the structure of the oviduct. Another function of the oviduct is the process of fertilization is going to take place at the wider part of the oviduct, that is ampulla. Here it is the widest part of the oviduct where the fusion of male and female gamete is going to taking place, and the zygote is produced at the site of the ampulla. Then it make it path and move through the isthmus, uterine part, and to the wall of the uterus for the further embryonic development. The second and the main important function of the oviduct is the fertilization. Specific function of this oviduct is the fusion of two gametes. And at last, it is provided with a particular opening called ostium. This ostium is found at the opening or orifice of the fimbriae, which is projected into the ovary, ready to receive the oocyte after the ovulation occur at the 14th day of menstrual cycle. After the 14th day of the menstrual cycle, the release of the ovum going to taking place, and this ovum get received by the ostium of the oviduct. Through this pathway, the egg makes its path and enters into the uterus. So, the structural and functional part of oviduct consisting of following points. Structurally, it's consisting of 5 different parts. It arises from the uterus, continues up to the ovarian structure, and it has the following functions. This is all about the oviduct. If this oviduct will act you as the 3.5 or 2.5 as your short note, you have to draw this diagram only, and you have to mention what are the different structural parts of the oviduct and what are their functions.